you want to talk about wild. That was different. So like everybody over there was full hazmat suits, masks, face shields, rubber gloves, booties.
All right, and welcome back to The Price for Paradise. My name's Woody, aka Creston Woods, and with me today we have my man Kyle Heffelfinger. He is a pilot. He is one of my clients and one of the most interesting guys I know. So I wanted to bring him on the podcast, talk his story, and congratulate him for his proposal. He's getting married soon. So congrats, brother.
Well, thanks, dude. Appreciate you. I don't know about the most interesting, but I definitely have some stories.
He's the world traveler extraordinaire, and so we're going to have some good ones today. So
A little bit.
Kyle is a pilot for
FedEx.
So Kyle, around December 20 to like 30, was flying around different areas of the Asia continent.
Southeast Asia.
And so he was delivering packages for FedEx on December 25th.
With my Santa hat on.
So he is the real Santa Claus.
In case you were wondering.
In case you were wondering, this is the guy.
Every once in a while. So yeah, got to go out and deliver those packages. So got to have my Santa hat on. It says FedEx. It's purple. It's perfect.
I love it. All right. So my family is... they love planes. My grandpa, he owned a plane. My uncle owned a plane. Like, everyone in my family always talks about flying with this, like, it's like how people talk about skydiving, or how people talk about like that rush of emotion and that like flow state. And so tell us why you became a pilot and what got you into being a pilot.
That is exactly correct. It is, we always call it, you got bit by the bug. There's something about being in an airplane, defying the gravity, and it's just, it's otherworldly. So when I was, I don't know, I must have been 4 or 5. I loved World War II airplanes. I was a maniac. I'd trace them and draw pictures of them. I knew everything about every airplane from World War II. And so my mom decided to let me go fly with one of her friends at the university she worked at up in Prescott, Embry-Riddle. And so I got to sit on my mom's lap. I got to take the controls. I got to fly around. I got to land the airplane. And that was it. It was game over. There was no going back. At that point, I knew this is my career. This is what I'm going to do. I started lining stuff up to do it, everything. And that's just what I was going to be. I was going to be a pilot. I didn't know what kind of pilot I was going to be. That changed throughout my life as I went. I thought I was going to be an Air Force pilot for the longest time. That, didn't pan out. I thought I was going to be a corporate pilot and, go down that direction. Didn't want to be an airline pilot. Then I saw my friends go into the airlines, how they got into it, how they, experienced the job and how easy it was. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just do that. Wasn't as easy as I thought. But
there's a lot of other prices you have to pay to become a pilot.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and that just kind of, and everything changed, but I just knew I wanted to be in an airplane and getting paid to do it. And so 5 years old, it was set in stone. There was no going back.
5 years old. He knew.
Yeah.
It
was game over.
Awesome. And then he actually fulfilled his 5-year-old dream, which not a lot of people do. So
no, definitely
props
not.
to you, bro. That's awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. And so what does it take to become a pilot? What does that process look like? And how long does it take?
So there's tons of different ways to go through it. Back when I was going through it, it was pre-regulation change. When I first started, regulations changed halfway through. So that kind of changed how the dynamic of things went. But there's really 2 main ways that people do it. Either you go through a mom and pop shop, and we call it Part 61 flying, or you go through a university.
Embry-Riddle,
UND, Western Michigan. There's a ton of them out there. Purdue, they all have a flight program. So that seemed the easiest to me. My mom worked at the university, so it was kind of a no-brainer. Hey, you're just going to go do this, pick a degree program. I didn't even get to pick my degree program. She just said, you're going to do this, because it was non-aviation related. Well, semi-non-aviation related. So I had a backup degree, and so that was it. But then I could start my flight training. So at 14 years old, you can start flying gliders, because they trust you to fly in something doesn't have an engine.
So you were flying at 14?
Yeah, by myself. That was,
Fuck yeah.
little scary, but yeah, I got shipped off to New Mexico with Civil Air Patrol and learned how to fly gliders and was flying gliders by myself at the end of it.
That's so epic.
And so I was 2 years before I ever had a driver's license, and I'm out there flying around by myself. So I did that. At 16, you can then go start flying powered airplanes. So I did that. You can solo, and then at 17 is when you can start getting your ratings. So at 17, I went and got my private pilot's license, and that's your step one. And then once you get that, at 18, you can get your commercial, your CFI, and all these other follow-on ratings. And that's how you're going to start making money. And that's how you're going to progress.
Become a pilot for your job and career.
Right. You're going to start building your hours because you have to build the hours to get to the airlines because they want a certain number of hours.
Do you have to be born a pilot? Is this like, it seems like you're like a specialized kid athlete that did pilot instead of like sports.
You can be taught.
Yeah.
But there are people that have that gift and it's natural. Like I'm not good at a lot of things. Most things. I can fly an airplane pretty decent.
Nice.
So it was something that just came naturally to me. But that's like lifting to you, running a business to you. You have that gift instantly and you know how to do it and you can work through it and it's a part of you. Same principle. Can it be taught? Absolutely. I mean, when I was teaching people how to fly, I had some of the people that weren't the best. Are they airline pilots now? Yeah, absolutely. Because they're really good now. They just had to work harder at it. I didn't have to work as hard. I didn't have to study as hard.
And you started early. I think that's like a big part of it, right? Like when you fascinate about it as a kid and you've thought about flying so much, it's like repetitions in your mind. Like you basically did.
Right. And you're so into it. You're so invested in it. It is something you enjoy. It's like if you're really good
at golf.
Yeah. If you're like in school, if you're really good at math, you love it. You're going to do really good at it. You hate biology. Are you going to do as good at it? Are you going to be a biologist first year? No, probably not. So it's just one of those things. If you have the passion for it, it seems to everything just clicks, right? So I took the what I would call the traditional route with the 4-year university. By the end of my sophomore year, I was teaching. So I was a student instructor. So I was teaching and going to school. So I'd take my classes from like 7 a.m. to noon, and then I'd work noon to midnight with my students. And so you do that 6 days a week and just trying to build your hours. And that's all the name of the game. So once I graduated college, I went to another flight school and became a little bit higher. I was the assistant chief instructor. And so there I got to like manage people, learn a little bit about that. I get to fly a little bit bigger airplanes, a little bit more fun airplanes. I got to go upside down a lot. That was a lot of fun. And so I just kind of kept going and going. And then I hit that magic mark of 1,500 hours. And that's where you can start going to the airlines.
So what age did you hit 1,500 hours of flight time?
1,500 I hit at 21, and then I got hired at 22.
Okay. And and then is that like a normal like timetable for people or is that early?
So I think that's a little early in maybe a 4-year university student type thing. In a Part 61 environment, a mom and pop shop, that 21 is not unheard of. It just depends on how many students you can get. We had a lot of simulators. You don't get time for simulators.
Yeah.
You have to fly in the airplane. So that slowed things down a little bit. But no, I think that's pretty good for as far as coming through a 4-year university. A lot of the other people coming out are going to the military route. So they're in for 10 years before they can ever try to go to an airline.
Oh,
so
I see.
They're like locked in. So they start pilot training at when they graduate college, right? So 23, 22, somewhere around there. So they're not even looking at the airlines until they're in the 30s.
Oh, see, like I wouldn't even be an airline pilot. Even if I wanted to be, I would still be in the process of becoming one.
Right, because you wanted to.
Because I wasn't born next to an airport and like that stuff.
Right,
like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
well, and a lot of people do the military route because the military is going to pay for you to fly. So,
yeah.
I mean, it makes total sense. Plus, a lot of people have that deep desire to serve this country, which is more props to them. I fly with so many military guys, and I really appreciate everything they did. But they're going to get a little bit later start than maybe, someone that went through a 4-year university. And then after that, I mean, and there's a lot of late onset pilots, career changes. So they're in their late 20s when they start an airline. But nowadays, it's moved to that 21 years old, 22 years old, you're starting to get your first job in the airlines. You have to be 21 to start. To become a captain, you have to be 23 because you have to get that airline transport pilot.
You need your brain to form a little bit too.
Well, they say that.
They say that.
I was a captain at 24, and that was.
It wasn't there yet.
I look back and I'm like, oh.
I can't believe they let me have the keys to a plane.
Well, so I'm So I'm 24, my FO's 21, and both my flight attendants are 18 years old, just graduated high school.
Oh my
Our
gosh.
combined age is like, wait, what? And then they
Please
just
don't
trust
tell all the passengers on your plane.
correct. And they just like, oh, by the way, here's a $20 million airplane. Go have some fun. Make sure you don't kill anybody. Oh, perfect. This is going to go over really well. And I mean, it did. All of
You're
us
still here.
yeah, obviously, all of us have that switch that flips when you go to work, and like a whole different person comes out, and you're like, okay, let's do everything, let's do it all, and then you get your off time, and you're like completely another different person.
Yeah.
So especially at 24 years old.
So now break into me like the beginning stages of being a pilot, like the lifestyle, right? Like so you're talking about like you're flying on days in a row, or are you flying?
So like starting the airline pilots, or like you're a flight instructor.
After flight instructor.
So like your first job in the airline. Okay, so you go to class. It's anywhere between 1 to 3 months of training, depends on the airline, how they like to run their training environment. After that, you're going to have flown the simulator. So you're in there 5 days a week or so, ground school, simulators. You're learning on your procedures and stuff like that.
How much money have you invested into becoming a pilot? And then how do you make money like on the way?
Average, I'd say between $60,000 to $80,000. And then you're a CFI, and then you start teaching.
But then, do you have to have side jobs and stuff on your way up? Like, did you work other things? Did you
So yeah,
do you get paid to like?
I had like other jobs before I got my CFI.
Yeah.
Before I actually could like really teach and make money, because that's the route I took. There's other routes you can take and fly. Like my fiance, she went and she flight instructed for like I think not even a year. And then she went to another airline that flew turboprops, but she could get hired under the 1,500-hour limit. So she didn't like teaching. So she went and did that route, which is, I highly suggest that to a lot of people. If you don't like to teach, don't teach.
Teaching's not for everybody.
Teaching not for everybody. I love teaching. So I actually enjoyed it most of the time. You know, you had the occasional ones you're like, oh, just no, please, just let's get over this.
Not every student's the best.
No. Or having to tell the student that, hey, this may not be for you. That was always hard. I never liked doing that. So, but there's other avenues. None of the money's good, at least back when I went through. All those first jobs were horrible pay. So like when I was teaching, I was getting like $12 an hour. I was, close to minimum wage. My first airline job was $17 an hour. I mean, so like $18,000 for your first year. Take your hourly rate, times it by 1,000. That's about what you're going to make before taxes.
Gross.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good, especially when you got student loans hanging out there and stuff like that. It was just a different time in the industry.
Yeah.
And so we've come full circle from that. Now it's actually a really good job.
Yeah, there's a ton of demand for pilots.
Oh, a ton of demand for them. And so most kids now, they're coming out and they're starting their airline job. They're between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. And that's great.
To start.
Oh, that's fantastic. And they're getting them past that hump. They're not on food stamps anymore. They're not all living together in crash pads.
People want to be pilots.
And people want to be pilots. And so, I mean, there's something about, I necessarily don't like wearing the uniform because of the flying that I do now. But, everyone likes to wear the uniform at some point in their career and, be proud walking through the terminal. But, then you get to old salty guy or whatever, you've been in it for a little bit and you're like, okay, just let me go to bed now. Especially when you start flying the backside of the clock.
Yeah.
Like what we do. But so that first you get through all your training, you've never flown the jet. So your first time flying the jet's with people on it. Just by the way, in case you didn't know, that new guy up there, he's never flown the jet with people on it. It's his first time doing it.
They tell everyone?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
We keep that one to ourselves for the most part.
Quiet.
And then you're going to run a schedule. So your average schedule for like a regional guy is going to be 4 on, 3 on, and then 2 to 4 off, depending on the month. They're going to make you usually work half the month. So you're going to be on the hook for at least 15 days a month, up to 18, depending on contracts and how you do.
Yeah.
Also,
so
you can work a little. You
you're-
can work a little bit more. And they say regional. It's not regional anymore. I mean, when I flew for ExpressJet, my first airline, I was based in Newark, Chicago, then Houston. I did a month stint in Newark and then Chicago and then Houston. I was there for the rest of the time. I was there for a year and a half total. I flew to like 45 states.
45?
I went we're going coast to coast.
Have you been to every state?
Missing one.
You're missing one? Which one?
Delaware.
Delaware
Has no commercial air service, so no airline flies in there. You have to be a military pilot or do like charter work to get in there. So I'm missing one. I have the rest of the states in like 26 countries or something like that. So,
crazy.
But that came later on in life. But you're running that schedule, all month, every month, and then occasionally you'll have vacation. You'll get like a week off, maybe 2 weeks off. When you're in that kind of lower level. In your days, depending on how the schedule is built, what your seniority is, do you have a good trip, bad trip? We were flying 6-7 leg days,
Oof.
10 to 14 hour days, and you're not getting paid when you're on the ground and the doors open. You're only getting paid when the airplane's moving and the doors closed.
Really?
Yeah. So we're not paid for any of that boarding time, any of the pre-brief time, any of the debrief time. It's only when the doors closed and the brake dropped and we're actually moving the airplane.
That sucks.
So that's not
little,
quite
but, I mean,
ideal.
Yeah.
So your days, and then you could have AMs, PMs, you could have swing shifts type thing. A lot of the trips, if you live in base, usually you just kind of start early. That's just how they work. They're a little bit better.
Sounds like a really healthy lifestyle.
But you're starting at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Do you really want to start at 4 a.m.? No, you don't want to start at 4 a.m. But then you might be done by like 3 p.m. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's got advantages. And then you might start at 10 a.m. the next day, and you're not done till like 1 in the morning.
And a lot of this is also time zone switching. So then you're 1 in the morning somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
exactly. So,
and so
your
that-
West Coast
that's when your
time
circadian rhythm.
and you're flying East Coast trips, you're already 3 hours off depending on the time of year. So it could be, it's not easy on the body. It really isn't. And then you start adding, when you start crossing date lines and real big time zones doing 15-hour flights, now you're really messed up.
Yeah.
But it's not great for the sleep. It's definitely not good for the health. And that's where, I noticed my health, and I noticed it and didn't do anything about it. I didn't think about it. I mean, I could have headed all this off a long time ago, but I just let it go.
And like, I
was
bet
tired.
you
I was lazy.
Yeah, you were tired, lazy, but like also the culture of like the other pilots too, right? Like you probably fell in line of like what everyone else was doing.
It was 500. Back in those days, it was 500 miles an hour, party to party. You were going 500 miles an hour from one overnight to the next, and
then you're in a different city,
different
food,
new
different
bar,
culture, new bar.
Yeah, we got to go check this place out. Oh, I've been coming here for years. We got to go over here. They got the 2-for-1 special. The classic pilot one was airport hotels. There's always an Applebee's, $1 Long Island iced teas. So you just got into some unhealthy habits pretty quick. But and not everyone does that. Some guys are good about it and they're motivated and they stay on track. Others not so much.
and I think you go through phases too. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
now especially, you're a much different pilot than you were.
Correct.
Back then.
Much different human being in general. So, but that's everybody. You grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about so you went and did a lot of domestic, and now what do you do?
Yeah. So growing up in the regionals was Canada, Mexico, United States. That's it. Mexico in the summer because it was hot. Nobody wanted to go there. I was junior. So where you go, where the senior guys don't want to go. Middle of winter, going to Canada. We're going to Saskatoon in January when it's negative 40. We're not having the best of overnights here.
Yeah.
You're going to Mexico City when it's 110, in the middle of July. That airline, Next Airline, Compass Airlines, got a little bit more variety, a little more West Coast. Got to go to Alaska, start doing a little bit different flying there. And then landed the dream job and got FedEx and immediately got thrown in the deep end on the big wide body airplane that we have, the 777. So it's the biggest airplane we have. It does the longest routes. So I went from domestic flying,
A couple hours here and there.
Yeah, my longest flight was 4 hours. And then now my longest flight's 15 and a half. So, rocking that Memphis to Dubai for 16 hours. It was a long trip. And we're crossing, I don't even remember how many time zones you're crossing on that trip. I think you're crossing 9.
When you take off in Memphis, what time is it? And when you land in Dubai, what time is it?
3 a.m. you take off in Memphis, and you land at 3 a.m. in Dubai 24 hours later.
Weird.
So you only flew 16, but you land 24 hours later, so you kind of miss a day.
An entire day.
Yeah, and then just, oh, by the way.
Are you spinning with the curvature of the Earth, or are you spinning
No,
the
you're
other
going
way?
against it on that one, I think. And then, but now I do trips I do trips to Asia, right? But I cross the date line. So now I take off on Saturday at noon out of San Francisco, or out of Phoenix. I take off at 6 a.m. And then at noon I take off out of San Francisco, and I land in Asia, but it's 2 days later in the evening. So I land at like 4 p.m., but it's 2 days later. I'm like, what happened to the other day?
That would be so confusing on my mind and my brain and my body.
So was it I think it was 2 years ago I did that, and I missed my birthday. My birthday didn't exist. I didn't have one.
You skipped your whole birthday.
I took off on the 18th and I landed on the 20th. I didn't have a birthday.
Oh, that's so crazy.
So like you can lose time, but then coming back, so
you got a whole extra day.
Yeah, so I'll
you didn't even leave any time.
I'll land in Guangzhou, China at 1 o'clock. So like I had this trip I finish in July. I'll land in Guangzhou at 1 o'clock in the morning on July 2nd. I'll be back at my house at 3 p.m. on the 2nd. And I've come from Guangzhou, China, to Hong Kong, to San Francisco, to Phoenix. It's still the same day, but I've traveled for 23 hours to get back there. Insane. But it's still the same day. So you get them, you make up for it on the other end.
So then now my biggest pressing question is the world flat?
No.
No, okay.
It's definitely not.
You hear it on a lot of podcast guys, but this is a pilot. He can see. He's been around the world how many times this year?
Oh, I don't even know. Well, when I was flying the 777, like every trip was around the world. So once a month, you circumnavigate the globe one time around. And when you're at 40,000 feet, you can look at the curvature of the Earth. It is actually a sphere. It's not flat.
All right, I had to say it. You're talking about going around, and
Yeah, no, we don't just flip and go on the other side.
No, there's no ice wall.
No, there's no wall.
Oh, shoot.
I know. Sorry to disappoint everybody.
I thought,
Right.
You never know.
You never know.
I didn't think, but and plus, all our GPS and everything that our phones run on and the satellites. There's a lot.
Still a circle.
Still a circle.
Still a sphere.
Oval.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean,
like
it does. Gravity
pulls
pulls
a
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. You're heavier at the
It's
equator than you
spinning.
are at the pole.
Yeah.
That's why you always want to go step on the in-body at Alaska. Get rid of that extra pound and a half.
Really?
Yeah. Then in the equator, you add that pound and a half. So it just depends, what you're trying to do.
Crazy. All right. So take us through some of your favorite places to travel to, and some of your least favorite places to travel to, and some of the most interesting stories.
So, favorite places to travel to on the current jet, definitely like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Those are three good ones. Mostly for food. I'm a bit of a foodie, but I mean, Thai food in Thailand, so good.
Yeah, you can't beat the authenticity.
And plus everything is so cheap. I mean, you can get a really good meal of food for like $3. So it's fantastic for that. Street food's great. Malaysia, same thing. Street food is just absolutely amazing. Especially in like Kuala Lumpur. Penang's got some really good dishes. And then Singapore's just a cool city. It's on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's very expensive, but it is just a cool place.
Yeah, very aesthetic.
Very aesthetic, very easy to get around.
Yeah.
Anybody that's watched Crazy Rich Asians has seen like all these parts of Singapore, and it's like I can go through that movie and be like, yep, been there. And it's just a cool place. It really is. A little hot in the summer, but take it for what it's worth. Australia. On the last jet, that was a great place to travel to.
He's told me about Australia and all these giant bugs.
Australia is a great place. Yeah, everything's trying to kill you, but it's okay. It's still a great place to visit. And then Europe's cool. I mean, Europe for me kind of wore off a little bit faster than maybe most. Like one of my places that I don't like to go is Paris.
Really?
Parisians. I don't know. They just don't like Americans sometimes. They just don't like Americans. It is what it is. South Africa's a great place to go.
Really?
Love that. Yeah, love it. It's just an eclectic place. It's different. Not a lot of people go there. India, you can take or leave that one. That's not too bad. And then like other places that I really don't like to go, basically just China.
China?
But I got to go there a lot. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's just full blown communism. It is what it is. So, It's just a weird place.
How do you like describe that? Like how does that yeah, how
They
does that show?
track everything. Like they're tracking my phone when I'm over there, and if I talk too much smack on text message, I might get like stopped at the airport.
Oh.
Yeah, they take no. Yeah, there is no privacy. They own everything. They own all the internet. They own everything you do. Like you have to have like a VPN and a pretty good one at that to like backdoor to even get to like Instagram. If you wanted to like go chat with your friends, Facebook is illegal over there, so you gotta like get around stuff.
It's interesting because Instagram's not.
It is illegal.
It is
like,
illegal.
Well, yeah, all the meta stuff, but they have their own stuff. They have the WeChat and all these other things.
Yeah.
But that's just for them. I mean, you can't get WeChat if you don't live in China.
Yeah, because I have like Yingbo as my my Chinese exchange client, and he's telling me like, yeah, I might not be able to like message you too much when I'm back, or I have to do it like through Instagram messages, through a back end way.
Yeah.
And so,
and
like,
so, and the people don't know any better. I mean, it is what it is. If you grow up there, you don't know any different. But for someone that's come from America, especially, land of the free, right? And you go over there, it's completely different. It's a whole entire 180.
Have you had to like go over there while all this crazy like the
COVID stuff,
like and the tariff stuff that's going on, like the trade stuff that's going on?
The trade war stuff, I haven't
gone over. Does that affect
over.
you for FedEx?
It affects our freight volumes,
like the size.
The size of the load. We might cancel flights, and you'll go somewhere else. So you'll get an in-trip revision, and all of a sudden you're not going to where you thought you're going. You're going to skip somewhere and go somewhere else. That you just kind of take on the fly.
And then COVID?
You want to talk about wild. That was different. So like everybody over there was full hazmat suits, masks, face shields, rubber gloves, booties. Then they made us wear all that stuff. So we would have to wear all that when as soon as we left the airplane. And you didn't have a choice. If you didn't, you were going to jail. You were getting arrested. I mean, it was what it was. So you were going over there, and we knew all this stuff going in. I mean, if you were senior enough, you could avoid it. If you were junior, you couldn't avoid it. Yeah. So I couldn't avoid it. And you'd get to the hotel, everything's behind plexiglass or talking through speakers, like throw you a key, and you go to your room, and you're locked in your room, and that was all you did. So we at one point we had 94-hour layovers, and you were locked in your room. You could not leave that
for 94 hours.
Yeah.
Bring you food.
You could order room service.
Oh,
sometimes it was edible, sometimes it wasn't. There and all the countries had a little bit different spin on things. Like I ended up going to a quarantine camp in Hong Kong for 10 days. That was an experience. Like concertina wire wrapped around the edge, to keep you in. Yeah, it was wild. Another time I was stuck in Japan for 17 days in a hotel that only served Italian food. I still can't eat spaghetti bolognese.
In Japan?
I know. It was weird to say the least. But COVID was a crazy time over there. Absolutely crazy time. That entire country was on lockdown. But the cool part was during the day when you opened up your blinds, you could actually see out because there was no smog.
Oh, it was smogless.
Because nobody was doing any manufacturing.
Wow.
So they actually had the best air quality they've ever had in the entire history of the country type thing. It was insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, and flying in there we could see. If we got in there during the day, we could actually see.
And you can see the smog pretty
Oh, now now it's back to full normal. You get on, you're we might have 6 kilometers of visibility. 7, 8 maybe. That's a good day. That's just how their manufacturing hub. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember flying with COVID times, we were flying into Shanghai, and you thought you were over land 200 miles, and it was all the ships with their lights on outside trying to get in to get all the shipping, but COVID shut all of it down. So there was these ships for hundreds of miles off the coast, and it looked like land. It was like land? Crazy with how many little dots of light there were. You thought you were flying over cities. It was crazy. Now, all back to normal.
All back to normal. Yeah. Everything, supply chains work now. Everything.
Yeah, the tariff stuff is changing things a little bit, but I mean,
there's a big pause on it.
And but now there's a pause on it. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. They're saying our freight loads are going back up. We're gonna, everyone's gonna try to probably bum rush shipping for a little bit, and that's stuff that I never thought I'd look at as an airline pilot. Normally just show up to work and okay, clock in, clock out, and move the people from point A to point B. But now it's like, okay, and now I'm flying, freight. Now I got to look at all this stuff to see, are we going to stay around for a while or are we going to have some problems? And, the airline industry is nothing if not cyclical. It's got highs, then it comes to lows, highs, lows. During COVID, we were making a lot of money. Airline pilots were sitting at home, not getting paid. So, and now airline pilots are getting paid really well, and FedEx guys not quite as good. So it's cyclical. You just kind of wait for everything to come around. Everyone will preach doom and gloom, but it's really not that bad. Yeah. Just stick with it. It all comes around eventually.
It all comes around eventually.
Yep.
And now we're going to come around to where we're at now. And the lifestyle, Kyle came in, and he was
Almost
a different person. About a year ago.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit of a different person than he is now. And so why'd you come in? And let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing.
Yeah. So it must have been 2-3 years ago. It was, you looked at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, who is that? And who ate me? And I was like 340 pounds and super unhealthy, and I needed to make a change. I knew something was going to happen. I'd lost my medical for a different reason, for an eye issue that I had. It's just a hereditary. I had to wait for the FAA to approve everything. And I thought I need to get in shape. So
especially because you don't want to make that go worse, because then you can't fly.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You
lose
your eye.
now you lose your income. Yeah. So now what are you going to do? So made the change, did keto, lost a bunch of weight initially, but that was unhealthy
and unsustainable.
And I wasn't training.
And so
I was losing loss, but I was losing a lot of muscle at the same time.
You're eating so much fat that it was probably a little.
Oh man, it was not
bad for triglycerides. And
at one point, it was just not fun. Big caloric deficits, like huge caloric deficits, like 1,500 calories a day type caloric deficits, which, as we know, is way unsustainable now, especially after working with you. You got to eat enough. You really do. I've lost more weight eating more calories than I ever did when I was, a better weight, I should say, than I ever did when I was cutting that hard. And so I knew I needed to add resistance training. I needed to lift. I needed to get muscle. So I came into this gym because they had sleds. That's what actually sold me on this gym.
Shout out to the sleds.
Shout out to the sleds.
The Pain Cave, my favorite.
The Pain Cave. It is worth it, ladies and gentlemen. And so then I was like, personal trainer is not a bad idea. I've got a little bit of disposable income. I can do this. And I really needed to understand what I'm doing. I was using some online coaching apps, and they were great. Shout out Mountain Tough. Those guys are awesome. They really helped get me started. But once you got the personal training, it was game changing. That was exactly what we needed. And then we started working together 5 days a week.
Yeah, Kyle hit the ground running.
Hit it running. Whenever I was home, it was 5 days a week. It was Monday through Friday for an hour.
And he is engaged now, but at the time he was in a single state. He was
it was single,
get back and get grind and work on me.
Yeah, work on me, and everything just started to fall into place.
As soon as we started hitting the ground running, it was so fast.
Man, it was so fast. It was so fast. And I can't even believe what kind of transformation we've had in the year we've been together.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
Me and Kyle immediately clicked when he came in, right? And he was one of those guys. He's like, just train me how you would train yourself. I like your style.
Send.
Let's just go all in. Let's do as much as we can. I got 10 days here, and then I gotta go fly for 10, and then I'll be back for another 10. So let's while I'm here, we're going all in.
Yeah, and it was definitely full send. I mean, if you remember the first 2 sessions, I was puking.
Yeah, and if we didn't have the wellness center, I don't even know if he'd still be coming back, because
the recovery.
A lot of times we put him in compression boots, sauna, cold plunge, red light. Yeah,
and especially when you're starting the journey, you need that stuff,
because you're
never gonna come back.
Gets so harder when you're toxic. When you're toxic in the body, you're toxic in the mind.
Yes,
and you'll that little voice in your head that's saying, "Oh, you need a break. You need a rest. You need to go." It comes up louder and louder.
You're this sore. Why are you still lifting? Okay. Well, how about we just stop the soreness? So, and then it was, talking to you and getting the help with how am I supplementing? I didn't know what magnesium glycinate was. Now it's that's a staple.
Yeah,
that's
I take that every day.
That's how I sleep. take it in the morning when I wake up, so I'm not gonna be sore that day. I take a bigger dose at night so I can get some good restful sleep, because sleep, obviously, as you know, is for me is the most horrible thing.
Well, yeah.
Right now, I'm running off of maybe 5 hours last night.
Ay, caramba.
I got an hour when I got to the hub in Oakland, and I landed at 4:15 this morning. And I slept till about 8:30, and I was like, okay, now I'm up. I got to go. The dogs woke me up, and I got to like start my day. But, that's just the life of the pilot, and especially when we're doing the night stuff here, doing the freight. So sleep was key. So whenever I'm off, I get way better sleep now. Even when I'm overseas, I can sleep better when I take my glycinate. I feel better, but also working out. I can't tell you what that did to my sleep.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
getting a good
being
lift,
worn out, and being like you're gonna knock out. You're like, when I was a college athlete, sleeping on, you can sleep anywhere. You can sleep on the bus. You can sleep. You're just exhausted, right?
You put some load on that CNS.
You've earned it.
Oh man, it's so much better. And on the days like on vacation, like I wasn't working out every day, I could tell some days that my sleep wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But on the days I lift, especially like when I'm overseas now and stuff, if I can get in, land, go immediately, do my lift, just get it out of the way. Oh man, I know I'm in for a great sleep.
Yeah, and so yeah, tell us a little bit about how the lifestyle changed on the road. Like, so like when you're like flying, when you're landing in different places. Now that you do have the healthier lifestyle, the diet, the training, like what do you do?
Now it's self-motivation. You really need to have it. Some days I'm better at it, some days I'm not. But if I can get into wherever I'm going and get my lift in, then I'm probably going to be okay. So that translates to like an evening lift back home, which is not usually our normal style. We like the morning lifts, get started, get it out of the way in the morning, get that, that peak kind of you burning better all day, the metabolism's up. So I'll usually try to get at least maybe a light lift or even some sort of cardio in. Then maybe I'll go to breakfast because breakfast is free. Pilots are cheap. So we're always going to eat breakfast. So breakfast is my dinner because I completely have a different schedule overseas. I wake up at like 9 p.m. and go to bed at like 10 a.m. just so I can stay on Arizona time. It helps my body when I come home. Yeah, it helps me recover a lot easier. And then maybe I'll get up at like 9 o'clock. And if I don't have a flight till like maybe 4 in the morning, I'll go get my lift in at like 11 p.m. And it's great because the gym's empty.
Yeah,
nobody's there. Got your whole place to yourself. There might be another FedEx dude in there, but I can do whatever. Now I can't lift like I do here. We
don't have big, barbells and stuff. You have like probably like a hotel gym type.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing a lot more activation lifts, high rep, lower weight. We'll max out the dumbbells and we'll do deadlift or RDLs or something. It just depends on what it is for the day. I try to keep our splits similar to what we have at home. So if we're working on like a posterior anterior split like that month, we'll usually vary it every month, right? Yeah. We'll do an A-B split. We'll do a posterior anterior. We'll do an up down. We try to vary it up. So whatever we're doing that month is what I'll do on the road.
You just try to keep it,
and just trying to keep it
throughout.
Yeah, exactly. And even though my days are thrown off because like I'm usually a full day ahead of you, I'll still like Monday. Monday's always our deadlift day. I'll try to do my deadlift day on Monday, even though it's Sunday back home. It just makes sense in my mind to keep it like that.
And what's it look like over the year? Like how much progress have we made?
Oh man, I wish I could go find my in-body from the first one. I think I have it somewhere. I got to go look at it. But I think we were probably at like 280. I think we're at like 33%, 34% body fat. No, I know it was 34% body fat. And I think we had like maybe like 102, 103 pounds skeletal muscle.
Yeah.
We just embodied the other day. It was 270, 28% body fat, and 111 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, dude.
So we made
muscle.
some serious changes. And the biggest thing for me was just stop looking at the scale. Don't worry about it.
Because
it's fine.
Because a lot of years, like, okay, so you lost like what? How many
10
pounds total?
But I've gained 10 pounds of muscle.
But you gained 10 pounds of muscle. So when you get that's actually 20 pounds of fat we lost plus the water we added. Like there's a lot of other stuff that went into that, right?
That's a whole other thing. Hydration is key. Oh my gosh. I cannot thank you enough for salt.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, Relight from, Redmond Salt. Just get your salt intake, get your creatine intake. I could stop taking all that and I'd probably lose 10, 15 pounds worth of water.
Of water weight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
but then I wouldn't
energy
feel
would be
good.
Worse. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You'd look like you're, dehydrated, which
Yeah,
would make you look lean.
You'd look lean.
But you feel awful.
And I'd rather not be there. Especially for what, my goals have been. And I think I told you the day one, I wanted to be like a rugby player. Big legs. I don't care if I have a 6-pack, but I need to be leaner. I need to get that muscle mass up. And that is exactly what we have done.
Yeah,
and we've set new goals now. We have new goals for the next phase of our training.
And now he's got to get marriage season going. So
Yeah,
we're about to get in the best
get-
shape of our life.
Now we got to get real. We got to get lean quick so we can get the wedding, so I can look good in the suit. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm just this whole journey. It's just been so good, and just the mental journey, the physical journey, the growing spiritual journey. I mean, right here, this guy, when we were working out with him, it's not working out with a trainer. It's working out with your buddy. And so, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done, and just our therapist conversations we get to have while we're sitting out here lifting, dude. It's just great.
Yeah, and I mean, it is like, just hanging out with your buddies.
Yeah,
Like,
really
we talk
is,
baseball, we talk, sports.
It's always a baseball conversation, at least once during our lift and in the break there.
Yeah, and I think that's like the difference between certain, coaches who sometimes, don't connect emotionally, or connect with friends. Like sometimes it's just a number on the paper. If you go to Lifetime Fitness, that's it's a quota you got to hit, and I don't know. I think that the more time you can spend with your clients, and the deeper the impact you make. Because I don't think you would have trusted everything that I said if we didn't really just go deep into who we were as people too.
And knowing your background and who we are as people, and talking about. We talk about girls all the time, and we're bouncing ideas off of each other, and just that type of relationship just makes it so much easier to trust in the process. And when you tell me, hey, stop looking at the scale, it's okay, you're good, we're numbers are trending good, I sit there and I believe you, and then I get more motivation in my head, and then I continue to push and
Takes
push.
that stress off your mind.
We're gonna go to we go to a baseball game, and then we just get to sit there and talk baseball. We don't have to talk about the gym, and we can kind of relax a little bit, and that stuff just feeds into it. I remember doing the online programs; they were good, but there's none of that personal connection, and so you trust in it.
They all work,
but you're not really trusting in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's a hang up in your brain that's like, should I really do that? Is that really the best way to do this? And then you actually go to someone that knows what they're doing, and you get that personal connection. You're like, yeah, all right, I believe you. And then you see the results. And I mean, I've seen the results over a year, and you can't deny the results.
And it's only the beginning.
I know. We've only just begun.
I love it, man. Well, we're rolling up on those last few minutes. Any last things you want to say, to the people before we get out of here?
To the people, sleds, the pain cave. Trust me, it's not fun, but it is fun, and it is your friend.
And it's best for your knees.
If you need personal training, this man right here, he is the one you want to go to. Especially if you want to do that hybrid athlete approach. And I think that's how I got connected with you in the first place, was I didn't want to do just strictly bodybuilding. I didn't want to be that big guy. I wanted to gain some muscle, but I wanted to have functional as well. And because of you, I did my first 10K last year.
Woo!
Completed it the whole time, never stopped running, didn't even walk once.
Let's go.
So, that benefit of what you've done and giving me that motivation is it's key. It really is key.
Brother. I appreciate you coming on, telling your story, and talking about all the cool stuff being a
Thank
pilot
you,
is, dude. This is sick. And my family's going to love it.
Many more to come.
Yeah, many more to come. And I'm sure we'll definitely get you back for some more pilot stories.
Absolutely.
In the future. All right, man. Well, thanks again. And guys, we'll catch you guys next week on The Price for Paradise. My name's Woody, and aloha.